You have been systematically lied to your entire life. And here is the worst part. You've been complicit in lying to yourself, too. Look around you. Right now, as you consume this, there is someone out there living the exact life you convinced yourself was impossible. They are receiving the respect you perpetually beg for. They are commanding the rooms you shrink in. They are building the empire you scroll through at 2 a.m., feeling that familiar, bitter ache in your chest. That burning question, when is it going to be my turn, is what keeps you awake. I know that feeling. I used to ask myself that same question, watching people half as smart as me secure twice the opportunities. I wondered why I was perpetually forced to explain, to justify, to desperately prove my worth to individuals who wouldn't recognize genuine talent if it slapped them across their mediocre faces. I felt that white-hot fury, the rage of realizing you've been playing a rigged game where the rules were explicitly designed to ensure your perpetual failure. But here is the truth that shattered my entire perspective, and it will shatter yours. The game is not rigged against you. You simply never learned the real governing rules. While you were diligently taught to be nice and wait your turn, others were mastering the actual mechanics of power. They were surgically studying the psychology of influence while you were focused on being merely likable. They were forging unshakable confidence while you were constructing elaborate apologies just for existing. The reason you are stalled is not because you aren't good enough. It's because you are still pathetically asking permission from people who will never grant it to you. You are waiting for someone else to validate what you already know to be true about yourself. You are playing by rules written by people who require you to stay precisely where you are now, small and predictable. But what if you terminated the asking? What if you ceased the waiting? What if you stopped being the victim of other people's crippling insecurities and started being the architect of your own inevitable, powerful rise? Because that profound shift is about to become your reality. In the next few minutes, you are going to master the 7 psychological principles that fundamentally separate the people who seize everything they desire from the people who are only given table scraps. You will comprehend why certain individuals command respect without ever demanding it, why they secure opportunities without begging for them, why some live like kings while others serve as subjects. This is not motivation or theory. This is surgical precision applied to the mechanics of human influence. By the time this is complete, you will not just think differently. You will move differently, speak differently, and exist differently in every single room you enter. Declare your sovereignty now in the comments and claim your power. I forbid subjugation. I am the ultimate authority. Type it like a lethal contract because after today, asking permission will feel like the ultimate act of self-betrayal. 7 laws of absolute command. Number 1. The power of strategic silence. I learned this devastating lesson firsthand. I was so desperate to prove I belonged in a room of successful people that I filled every conversational pause with nervous chatter and desperate, witless attempts at contribution. I mistakenly believed participation required volume. I thought value meant verbal output. I was crushingly, embarrassingly wrong. The most powerful person in that room barely uttered 10 words across the entire meeting. But when he spoke, the room leaned forward. When he remained silently observing while others rambled, you could literally feel them realizing they were revealing too much of their hand. That was the moment of revelation. Your mouth is your enemy. Every single word you speak is free information you are giving away. Every single explanation you offer is a weakness you are advertising. Every time you rush to fill an uncomfortable silence, you are declaring that their comfort is more important than your power. Silence terrifies people because it compels them to confront their own thoughts and insecurities. When you stop rushing to fill every pause, people instantly start projecting their own fears onto your quiet confidence. They assume you are expertly judging them, evaluating their worth, and seeing through their masks. And here is the beautiful truth. You are. While they are talking, they are showing you exactly who they are, their desperation, their pressure points, their core insecurities. But when you are the one constantly talking, you are the one being surgically dissected. Machiavelli recognized that everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Your sustained silence is a canvas where people paint their own version of your power, and suddenly you are not just another person in the room. You are the person everyone is striving to impress. Silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is the presence of undeniable power. The person who can sit comfortably in stillness while others squirm is the one who controls the energy of the room. They require no noise to command attention. Silence is not the absence of power. It is the proof that you do not need noise to control the room. Number 2, mastering the flow of knowledge. I used to be an open book, mistaking transparency for honesty and oversharing for genuine connection. I freely shared my struggles, my plans, and my fears with anyone who showed casual interest. The brutal wake-up call arrived when I realized that every piece of personal information I had shared was being meticulously used against me. My struggles became proof of my weakness, my dreams became jokes, and my fears became weapons in the hands of others. I had given away my most valuable currency, information about myself, for free, to people who were simply collecting ammunition for future battles. Information is the true power, not money, not connections, not even talent. The control of information flow determines who holds the real power in any situation. While you were taught that sharing is caring, others were mastering the art that knowledge is leverage. Every conversation is an intelligence-gathering operation. The question is, are you consciously collecting intelligence or accidentally giving away state secrets? I started treating my personal information like a classified government document, not because I had secrets, but because I finally understood that mystery creates respect and scarcity creates value. The less people know about your internal process, the more they must respect your external results. Observe the most powerful people. You know almost nothing about their private struggles or emotional states, and that is not accidental. Machiavelli stated, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." While others are forced to reveal their entire hand, you must be surgical about what you reveal and when you reveal it. Your challenges, strategies, and next moves are privileges to be earned, not rights to be assumed. But while you become selective about what you share, you must become systematic about what you gather. Pay obsessive attention to what people tell you when they are trying to impress you, gain sympathy, or justify their own failures. They will tell you everything you need to know about them if you are patient enough to listen and smart enough to remember. This is not manipulation. This is awareness. When you understand people's motivations and pressure points, you can create value for them in ways that simultaneously serve your goals. When you control information, you control options. When you control options, you control outcomes. Learn this, and you will never again be surprised by someone else's moves. Drop this decree in the comments to sever your chains. My trust is earned. My stability is internal. Number 3, the illusion of emotional certainty. 1 year ago, someone I fully trusted executed a devastating betrayal. They took private information I had shared and ruthlessly weaponized it in a public setting. I listened as my struggles were twisted into public entertainment, feeling the slow burn of humiliation. My initial animalistic instinct was to explode, to defend myself, to scream about betrayal and the hurt. But something stopped me. I remained in absolute silence as my world burned. In that devastating moment, I learned the most vital lesson of my life. Your emotions are not your identity. They are merely information. They are temporary chemical reactions you must observe, analyze, and then strategically choose whether or not to act upon. That moment did not break me. It revealed something more potent than revenge, the ability to remain completely calm while someone else loses control. While they were showing everyone their true destructive character, I was demonstrating the disciplined, powerful person I was becoming. Emotional untouchability looks precisely like this. When someone tries to provoke you, you do not react. You collect data. When someone betrays you, you do not collapse. You take notes. When someone attempts to manipulate your emotions, you deny them the satisfaction of success and give them the discomfort of failure. This is not a mandate to become a robot or pretend you lack feelings. This is about understanding that your emotional reactions are calculated choices, not inescapable reflexes. The person who remains calm during chaos is the person everyone else looks to for stability and leadership. Machiavelli stated, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." Your goal is not to induce fear through aggression, but to command respect through the fact that you cannot be emotionally manipulated, controlled, or predicted by anyone. When you become emotionally untouchable, people gravitate toward you during their crises because they know you will not amplify their chaos. Critically, when you master your emotional responses, you begin seeing other people's emotional reactions as information about them, not verdicts about you. When someone gets furious because you enforced a boundary, you do not question yourself. You see it as proof that your boundary was necessary. Your emotional response must be a choice, not a reflex. Drop this oath into the comments to solidify your strength. I am the master of my inner kingdom, not the slave of my feelings. Master this, and you will never again be forced to dance to anyone else's music. Number 4. Building unbreakable systems. I used to confuse freedom with the absence of structure. Real freedom is not chaos. It is the presence of structures that serve your goals instead of other people's agendas. It's building systems that work whether other people participate or not. Most people build their entire lives around other people's decisions, schedules, and moods. Their income depends on their employer's budget, and their self-worth depends on their partner's validation. They have constructed elaborate networks of dependency and mistakenly called it connection. This is voluntary imprisonment with better marketing. When your financial security and emotional stability depend entirely on other people's consistency, you are not living your life. You are borrowing it from people who can revoke your access at any moment. My crisis arrived when every system in my life collapsed simultaneously. The secure job vanished, the permanent relationship ended, and the loyal friends revealed their true priorities. Everything I thought was mine was just on loan. That crisis forced me to ask the question that changed everything. What would my life look like if it didn't depend on anyone else's consistency or approval? Machiavelli stated, "Everyone wants independence, but nobody wants to pay the price of building it. That price is temporary discomfort, delayed gratification, and the discipline to build something sustainable." Building systems means creating multiple streams of income and developing skills that travel with you, instead of depending on one paycheck or one company. It means building your own internal validation systems. This is not selfishness. This is strategic thinking. When you have systems, you can engage with people from a position of choice rather than need. You stop being afraid of economic uncertainty and relationship changes. Systems create options. Options create power. Power creates freedom. When you have systems, you don't need to tolerate disrespect or accept unfair treatment. Dependencies make you negotiable. Systems make you sovereign. Every day you spend building someone else's system is a day you are not building your own. Number 5. Silence the committed critics. 3 years ago, I made a life-altering decision. I left a stable job that everyone thought I was crazy to quit. The reaction was swift and brutal. Family questioned my sanity, friends predicted my failure, and colleagues whispered about my arrogance. I wasted months trying to explain my vision, presenting detailed plans and financial projections. Nothing I said mattered. They had already decided what I was capable of based on their own fears and their need to keep me safely contained in a box. These people were not confused about my potential. They were fundamentally threatened by it. That was the moment I grasped the most liberating truth. There are people in this world who are committed to their version of you because changing their mind would require them to change their entire worldview. They need you to fail because your success would mean they have no excuse for their own crippling mediocrity. You cannot logic someone out of a position they did not logic themselves into. You cannot convince someone to respect you when their entire self-identity depends on feeling superior to you. Machiavelli stated, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." The people committed to misunderstanding you are not interested in experiencing your reality. They are interested in maintaining their convenient fiction. What changes everything is when you stop explaining yourself to people who are not genuinely trying to understand you. You free up enormous amounts of mental and emotional energy that you can redirect toward building work that speaks for itself and developing skills that render their opinions completely irrelevant. The people who love you will not require lengthy explanations. They will trust your judgment. The right opportunities will not require you to beg for them. This doesn't mean you become dismissive of all feedback. It means you become ruthlessly selective about whose understanding is worth pursuing. When someone shows you through their consistent refusal to see evidence that they are committed to misunderstanding you, believe them, and redirect your energy toward people who are committed to growing alongside you. Your worth does not decrease based on someone else's inability to see it. Some people need you to be small so they can feel big. Do not give them what they need. Give them what they've earned. Absolutely nothing. Number 6, non-negotiable value. I spent 3 years being the nicest person at every job, believing job security came from being liked, and that getting ahead meant not making waves. Then I watched someone half as nice but twice as competent get promoted repeatedly. That was the moment of brutal realization. Nice doesn't make you necessary. Agreeable doesn't make you valuable. Being easy to work with guarantees nothing except being easy to replace. What makes you irreplaceable is being so undeniably good at what you do that replacing you would cost more time, money, and risk than keeping you and paying you exactly what you are worth. Competence is your insurance policy against other people's moods and changing loyalties. When you are irreplaceably competent, people are forced to deal with you as you are, not as they wish you were. They may dislike your boundaries, but they require your results more than they require their own comfort. Building irreplaceable competence requires a ruthless commitment. You don't just do your job, you understand your industry better than people who've been in it twice as long. You don't just meet expectations, you anticipate needs your boss doesn't even know they have yet. You don't just solve problems, you prevent crises everyone else would stumble into blindly. Machiavelli stated, "There is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success than to take the lead in the introduction of a new order of things." This is precisely why most people avoid becoming irreplaceable. It requires the courage to challenge systems and risk being wrong in exchange for the possibility of being profoundly right. When you commit to this level of competence, people stop questioning your methods and start studying them. They stop trying to manage you and start trying to keep you. Your value becomes so obvious that arguing with you becomes counterproductive. The transformation is immediate. People who dismissed your opinions start asking for your advice. You stop competing with other people and start competing with previous versions of yourself. You stop worrying about job security and start negotiating partnerships. Most importantly, you stop being afraid of other people's opinions because your results speak infinitely louder than their critiques. Competence is the foundation of every other form of power. Build it first, build it ruthlessly, and everything else becomes negotiable. Number 7. Prioritizing your zenith. This is the principle that separates those who want to feel powerful from those who want to be powerful. This is where most people stop because they are not ready to hear what real power demands. I had to fire my best friend, not from a job, but from my life. We had shared everything, but our paths diverged. I was growing. They were stagnating and draining. Every conversation was them explaining their failure while expecting me to solve problems they wouldn't solve. I kept giving them my time and energy because I confused loyalty with enabling and kindness with stupidity. The wake-up call was realizing that every hour I spent on their chaos was energy I couldn't invest in my own goals. Strategic ruthlessness is not cruelty. It is the willingness to prioritize your goals over other people's comfort. It is saying no to people you care about when their request does not align with where you are going. It is ending relationships that drain your energy, even when those people are not bad people. They are simply not your people anymore. It is making decisions that disappoint people who were relying on you to stay small and predictable. Machiavelli advised that sometimes you must be stingy with your time, energy, and emotional availability in order to have enough left over for the things and people that truly matter. Sometimes the most ruthless thing you can do is refuse to enable someone's weakness, and the kindest thing you can do is disappoint them in the short term to force their growth in the long term. Your resources are finite. Every yes to one thing is a definitive no to another. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not necessarily luckier. They are more willing to make the tough decisions others avoid. Strategic ruthlessness is what allows you to build the life others wish they had the courage to build. It is what transforms you from someone who reacts to life into someone who designs it. The final command, sovereignty of self. I want you to understand something that will fundamentally change how you see yourself. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not too late or too damaged to become exactly who you are meant to be. You have been systematically programmed to believe that your natural desire for success and power is wrong or selfish. You have been convinced that setting boundaries makes you difficult and prioritizing your goals makes you ungrateful. These are psychological chains designed to keep you manageable and predictable. Everything you have learned today boils down to one understanding. You are not here to be liked. You are not here to be comfortable. You are here to become unforgettable. You achieve this by developing such deep competence, such strategic thinking, such emotional mastery, and such systematic independence that your presence changes the energy of every room you enter. This journey is about becoming who you always were, underneath all the conditioning and all the fear of what others might think. The world is full of people waiting for someone else to give them permission. But you are done waiting. Permission is not something that is given. It is something that is claimed. You don't need to announce this transformation. They will notice the change without you saying a word, because real power doesn't need to be declared. The relationships meant to survive this evolution will grow stronger, built on respect rather than need. The opportunities meant for you will recognize you before you recognize them. And the people who were never yours to begin with were just placeholders, keeping space warm until the real players arrived. This is the moment you stop asking the world for permission and start taking what was always yours. You have everything you need to become untouchable. The only question left is, are you finally ready to stop pretending you don't? Finalize your transformation. Drop this ultimate oath in the comments. My dominion is absolute. I am the ultimate authority. If you are done being controlled, hit like. If you are ready to become untouchable, subscribe. You don't need permission anymore. Take what is yours.